Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another ASCII video. This is going to be a short video. Today I came home from work. I was like, let me hit up the PTR. Let me practice some slave pens boosting. Got into slave pens, and I noticed very quickly that the mobs resisted my slows. The mobs would not get Nerfed. I would even get teleported if I accidentally pulled the boss inside of the slave pens. And I was like, that's weird. Maybe it's just, wonky PTR build. But then I remembered that they actually released anti-boosting mechanics in TBC, last TBC Classic. And I found this post from 2022 that explains the different anti-boosting mechanics inside of dungeons. And it was exactly what I was experiencing. The mobs were using knockdown on me. They wouldn't get slowed, immune to my roots, and I would get teleported. So obviously this is the mechanic to stop mages and paladins from boosting in Classic, because paladins, even in their bubble, would get knocked down. Mages, even in their ice block, would get knocked down, right? So even if you thought like, I'll just ice block and I'll sort of get the mobs to stack up, and then I can do like flame strike kiting, which would probably work, right? The mobs will teleport you. The mobs will knock you down in the block. So even when you come out of it, you're just stunned. Super, super annoying for boosting. It basically kills boosting. So it leaves me speculating. Is Blizzard going to release TBC with off the bat having implemented anti-boosting mechanics? Personally, I hope that it's sort of like a mistake that they implemented the anti-boosting mechanics in the PTR because that's just the build that they had laying around that they wanted to release for PTR. I don't know how to feel about it. Honestly, obviously, most of my content here on YouTube is about boosting, and I find boosting itself super fun. So even if I couldn't boost people, but I could solo dungeon content the stuff and still like make, raw gold or whatever, I would think that would be fun. Just the challenge of it. I don't like the fact that I can't do it. I wouldn't mind as much if it was like limitations on boosting. Oh, you got a max rank in the run, you get way less XP. I wouldn't even care too much about that. It's more like they're taking an aspect of the game that I think is super fun away from me, like the opportunity to do like solo content and like big polls and stuff like that. Obviously, Blizzard back in the day when they made this change, it was to limit illicit activities such as RMT, because people will buy gold to buy their boosts. Also, and they experimented on the Season of Mastery servers and like reducing the efficiency of boosting groups, and they came up to the conclusion to roll out these changes. I don't like these changes, I'm not gonna lie. I think I don't like the argument, or what do you say, that they say it's because we don't want this advertisement, we don't want RMT, but they're not really dealing with RMT. By banning boosting, sure, people might tend to buy less gold, but they can still buy gold. They can still buy other boosting activity services, buy items inside of raids and such, which was still happening in Classic. Even though GDKPs were banned, people were still RMTing for loot. You're just paying with real life money, buying carries. People will pay with items instead. Like there's all this deal with like Black Lotus GDKPs. So they're not actually doing anything about the underlying cause, which is bots, right? What is causing all of this inflation? It's bots. So unless Blizzard actually does something about that, I don't see how it helps anything. And I don't see why they would implement this in TBC and not in Classic the first time around. Because obviously a lot of the botting gold that's made in Classic right now is like mage bots soloing dungeon content like Sunken Temple, Sulfuric, all those things. There's so many bots doing that. Solgurup. They're not even boosting players. They're just doing it for the raw gold, for that 50, 60, 70 gold an hour raw. So If they want to implement an anti-boosting mechanic, I want them to actually do something about botting. Otherwise, it just feels like we want people not to play the way they want to play the game. If people want to get boosted, I don't care, really. I don't care if it means less or more people doing dungeon out in the world content, because in the end, once people reach 70 and they're done with their alts, they're going to stop doing this content anyways. It might just actually stop those players from leveling another alt because it's so bothersome, and bring that into current content, right? Max level content. Anyways, I know some of you will disagree with me, some of you will agree with me, but I really want to hear your opinion down below in the comment section. Like, do you think this is good? Do you think this is bad? Do you agree with me that they should do something about botting before, limiting our ability to boost? And yeah, let me know down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. I really hope this is not intentional Blizzard's end. But let's see how it fans out. They'll probably either change the PTR to have no boosting limit, or they'll come with a blue post saying, yeah, we're going to release it with anti-boosting mechanics, because that was technically in TBC, although towards the end of TBC. Anyways, see you guys in the next video, and remember, follow the Aziwao.